Oh, it's cute. Can actually kill people.
Now, let's get into it, right? Because I want it to be said and understood when I get back to P Valley. Now, let's get it understood firsthand. And here's the problem that people have. We're looking at a situation where you see Stephen A. Smith. And don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the page, hit that super thanks. We appreciate it. So that's why we're saying super thanks. And definitely understand where we're coming from. Because some people might not understand what we're saying. We love everybody that comes out and shows support. Now, whether you agree or disagree, it is what it is. You know, like these terms are what it is, and that's that. Stephen A. Smith and C.J. McCollum was speaking, and many people just didn't understand what the main problem was when they were speaking. So, what I decided to do was to break it down to be more specific so that everyone else could know. Now, as far as the rest of the direction of who, who's the best, whatever, we'll just let people decide that. But as it relates to this scenario, this subject, this is clear. There's an absolute problem, a situation that has ensued that needs to be dealt with effective immediately. And I'm finally glad people are deciding to call out the people that need to be spoken about. And spoken in such a manner that everyone sees it and understands it. Now, others might say, well, what is it? Like, I don't get it, or I don't understand it. It's like, you don't understand it. um, what don't you understand? You gotta like repeat things over and over to people because sometimes they just don't get it. Now, you look at situations that have transpired or become more of a problem with Stephen A. Smith and the way he does his job. Now, I've been told some things, and I've been told that Stephen A. Smith is very upset at J.J. Redick right now, that those two are not vibing. And it had mainly to do with what C.J. McCollum did, who he felt came there to be hostile rather than supportive. And he was doing C.J. McCollum a favor because C.J. McCollum has his podcast, and he's been working on his telecommunication skills for quite some time. And Stephen A. wanted to bring him on the show because he's asked him many times before to come on the show. And he let him come on the show. And J.J. Redick, who Stephen A. has spoken for to be on the show with him, basically cleared the way of Max Kellerman to bring in J.J. Redick, someone who has knowledge of the game, very good at their job, etc. So brought him in to basically facilitate the spot where Max used to be on the big stage. Now, because of this scenario, because he felt like JJ Redick and CJ teamed up against him and double teamed him and tried to embarrass him on his show, really put him at a, like, this is how you're going to do me mentality when it came to JJ Redick and CJ McCollum. Now, I like to listen to everything in context so I don't miss a thing or blow something out of proportion. I want to get it just right. So I said, well, let's get this just right. So we went in to get it just right. And what we found out was clear. As we got it just right. Stephen A made some good points about Darvin Ham being able to work, because the topic was, can Darvin Ham make it work with LeBron, Davis, and Westbrook? And everything he said was making sense until he got to his end. And this is what Stephen A does. He says a lot of things that are truthful that everyone else seems to agree with. And then he says something that's way off, out of bounds, but it's on the script of where he really wants to go. Let's see how he landed the plane. Let's listen.
To work within the concept of a team run by LeBron James is extremely more difficult. And so him being at that press conference yesterday, actually, to me, I didn't like it.
What?
And the reason I didn't like it is because, yes, you're still a member of the Lakers, but we all know everybody's been talking about what the Lakers need to do when it comes to Russell Westbrook. He's entering the last year of his deal. He's getting $47 million. Will somebody take him?
So that's not the question. It's not the question at all, ladies and gentlemen. The question was, can Darvin Ham make it work with LeBron, Davis, and Westbrook? He turns that to, I'm not happy he was up there supporting Darvin Ham. You know everybody wants to see you gone. Why does that mean Russell Westbrook can't be up there supporting Darvin Ham getting this job for the Los Angeles Lakers? He's supporting his head coach. He's a member of the Los Angeles Lakers. So why would that be a problem for him to be up there? Because here's the thing, and this is the oxymoron that is Stephen A. Smith. He wants Russell Westbrook not to show up so he can say, well, Westbrook wasn't going to show up because he knows they're trying to ship him out. Why would he show up? So you can have a negative spin on it. But even when he does something positive, it shows support for the new coach who's coming in, who happens to be African American. And this is what CJ was saying, is you trying to say, oh, that's not the case, that he's African American. That's not even the case. Let's not make it about race. Well, I'm sorry, players make it about race all the time because they see it's about race. How many times have y'all sat there on the First Take show and talked about how the head coaches in the NBA weren't treated fairly for African Americans? You just had that segment last year before they start hiring all these African American coaches and how they had a quick hook. Right? This is what was on the tape and what was being talked about and spoken of. Am I right or am I right? Then, to top it off, I'm going to get even more specific. You went ahead and made a mockery out of everything that was just said. Complete mockery. Now, the fact that you're doing all these things, and they spoke up about it, it wasn't a double team. They just thought that was a very dumb narrative. And they wanted you to expand because it did not make sense what you just did. But it makes sense to you because that's going to tie into your tearing them down. Now, there's many other reasons why people would say certain things about his delivery, his punchlines, but he went way off course to make this a whole bashing rant from that point on about Russell Westbrook. He went on for another 2 minutes bashing Russell Westbrook. And basically blaming Westbrook all over again, which wasn't the topic. It was, can Darvin Ham make it work with LeBron, Davis, and Westbrook? And he just went in all on Westbrook all over again at the end of it. And they were listening, and JJ said this.
Said a random take.
Let JJ on go.
Explained a bunch of things about Russell Westbrook that had nothing to do with that take. And so I want clarification on this.
Sure.
What is your issue with Russell Westbrook being at that news conference?
That's a wild thing. That's a wild thing for you to say.
That is wild.
His team, his organization, his coach, a fellow African-American man that gets hired by the Los Angeles Lakers.
Don't go there.
That's not you're saying, this is what you said.
No.
Oh, like she's just chilling, like she don't want no smoke.
You bring up another African-American man. That's not where I'm going with that.
You said that.
I'm talking about the Lakers organization discussing trading him.
What does that got to do with him?
Well, what I'm saying, no. What are you talking about? What they got?
You said him going to the press conference. You're disappointed.
I'm saying.
No, run the tape. We got a tape. That's what you said.
I
want to feel like it's a replay. It's just it's a moving game.
About moving Russell Westbrook. They're talking about trading him. My point is that this guy, there are question marks as to whether or not he's going to be a part of the team. That's all I meant by saying.
Right now, he's on the team.
I understand
and that's his new coach.
Okay.
For the time being.
Do you want to take back that statement?
No.
I feel you don't want to take it back.
No, because I didn't mean it the way CJ is trying to interpret it.
JJ and CJ
You said he should have been at the press conference, which is foul.
I said I did not lie.
He should have been at the press
First of all,
conference.
it's not foul.
I'm saying for him to not show up, but he's in the city.
I'm not faulting him for being there. I'm saying the Los Angeles Lakers are trying to move this dude because last year was so uncharacteristically awful. You got people that think he's done. I don't believe that. I believe Russell Westbrook's got a lot left in him. But clearly the Lakers have some trepidation about it. Talk to the teams around the league, and they'll tell you the trepidation that exists around Russell Westbrook. So if you're talking about moving this guy, remember he was supportive of Frank Vogel as well. Then he's sitting there at the end of the season saying, I don't know what the hell happened. You know, I was good. I was good to this guy. I was supportive of this guy, et cetera, giving off the impression that there was expectations that came with it in terms of it being reciprocated. So now I don't want to hear that when it comes to the new coach, Darvin Ham, because Darvin Ham is coming in there to coach the team to the best of his ability. What level of expectations do you have then? What level of reciprocation are you having?
Hold on.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because now he shifted the narrative back to Russell Westbrook. The question is, can Darvin Ham make it work with LeBron, Davis, and Westbrook? He has not said one word about LeBron and Anthony Davis. He's continuously making his conversation about Russell Westbrook. When Anthony Davis played bad last year, LeBron James played bad last year, and Russell Westbrook is the only player who stepped his game up towards the end of the year. LeBron was out trying to catch Kareem's record and score a bunch of points. Other than that, he was a non-factor. And none of this gets spoken with LeBron and his eliteness and his elitist status. Can Darvin Ham work with LeBron should have been the question. But you would have not yet mentioned LeBron and Anthony Davis. You're continuously attacking Westbrook for showing up when they announced the new head coach. He's a player and a member of that team. Why wouldn't he be? If he acted like he wasn't and the team was supposedly trying to trade him, you would bash him for not going and not showing support. Yes, he supported Fogle when they got him. That's what a player's supposed to do, who's about the team. And it's not about him. He came out showing support. So, I don't understand what the problem is.
Address all the conflicting information.
It's a lot of conflicting information. Now, if we look at it in its totality, we can see that Stephen A. Smith and what CJ is trying to say is, man, this is an African-American coach. You know, and once you got an African-American coach, you should be like one of the main supportive people in this status, because y'all was just doing segments saying black coaches don't get this, black coaches don't get that. So now all of a sudden, here we are, tied into this narrative that Stephen A. Smith knows what he's talking about because he's on television. That is the illusion that has been dealt to us. And it continuously is being dealt to us over and over again. Now, here it is, two people that played the game and a guy that's currently playing the game, sitting down, telling him the ins and outs of everything that he's doing. What's wrong about it, what's right about it, the whole nine. Right? Now, let's take it even further. Because I just want to be so totally transparent with all of this. We're going to take it even further. Now, taking it further, we look at it from another point of view, another angle. And that angle has been made clear. And that angle is that JJ Redick and CJ are both not letting it go. Even Molly got in on it. And she's supposed to be the moderator, and she was quiet as a mouse. But she got in on it. So that shows you a lot of people are just not going with the BS. Stephen A., you actually have to say something. And shouts out to Kwame Brown, Bus Life. Don't forget to follow him and subscribe to his page, Bus Life Sports and News. Don't forget to follow that page. Subscribe to this page, hit the like button, the whole nine. Let's get into it, because this needs to be said. Kwame got this ball rolling when he went viral for smashing on Stephen A. Everybody else was like, yeah, man, we tired of this dude saying something. But they don't want to acknowledge Kwame. Do you know why the NBA players don't? Because they realize that, oh, Kwame gonna say something. Or their agents like, oh no, he's not with the agenda. And other players, they know, they've listened to Kwame. Believe me, almost every player in the league has heard Kwame Brown and what he had to say about Stephen A. and how weak Stephen A.'s response was. trying to talk about him as a player. The same thing he told you you've done for 20 years, you basically did that in your reply. You couldn't have the words to express or defend what you were doing. You wasn't critiquing, you were trying to destroy. And there's a difference in the two. And you've just been called out on it right here.
That has taken a position that they've taken, albeit privately. And I'm saying, excuse me, when I see him at the press conference, it gives the impression, okay, are you keeping him here? Is this guy a part of the team this upcoming season? Are you no longer talking about moving Russell Westbrook? I'm thinking about it along those lines. That's all.
So you're not thinking about it from a Russell Westbrook standpoint, because essentially what
Right.
you're saying, yeah, because Russell Westbrook was essentially being a professional by
Yes.
showing up at the press
Yes,
conference.
I was talking
He was
about the
supporting
Los
Darvin
Angeles
Ham.
Lakers
Okay.
and the supposed relationship.
That makes this better because the way it came off
Yeah.
us and
I just wanted clarification.
All right, Neil.
Yeah, there it is. Because the way it looked to even myself, it looked like this is strange that you would have this type of approach and this type of energy for someone who didn't have this kind of energy towards you. Just didn't make any sense, bro. And you went way off the topic. So they called you out on it and made you clarify yourself. And it's still, they just gave you an out. But realistically, you guys are being called out on this nonsense because you're saying the same things and trying to create a narrative that has no bearings on the actual outcome altogether. So the narrative is clear. You guys have an agenda, and that agenda is being checked because that was never the topic. You got so far off the topic, you never even talked about LeBron and AD. You kept it all about Westbrook. And it was two other names in that statement, in that question. But yet, Anthony Davis, who can't stay healthy, LeBron James, who's been injured every year, he's been a Laker, and he's 40. And the defense is like one of the worst. They were one of the oldest teams in the league, if not the oldest, getting beat by all these younger teams who are better than them. They couldn't beat the younger market teams. Like, they were basically a G League team. And yet and still, we're worried about can Darvin Ham coach them. Seriously? Westbrook is the problem? If you watched the Los Angeles Lakers last year, you saw a lot of problems on the team. Anthony Davis can't stay healthy is a problem. When he is healthy and he's not rebounding, he's not playing like Anthony Davis, he's shooting 18% from 3, that's a problem. LeBron James out there trying to score points and chasing stats instead of trying to win games. Don't have the energy to carry teams all the way through. That's a problem. He's 40 now, or he's about to be 40. His game is 4,000. So he's that old. These young guys, he can't guard these young guys. They're blowing by him. And I don't care what your body looks like. It's what it's actually doing on the court. And now you're just a guy that's going out trying to score a bunch of points. And hopefully the ref gives you a bunch of calls and a lot of free throws to make it happen. So on that note, I don't even care to talk about it no more. that's that. So don't forget to support the page, like we said. Hit the super thanks button. Hopefully you guys have super chatted or hit up the Cash App. We can continuously keep making videos and keep pumping them out, because we spitting them out like baby teeth, baby. Love, peace, and hair grease. Hopefully everybody's out there safe and enjoying their lives and having a great day, being positive. And let's see when the narratives change now. Because more of these athletes are coming out and doing media. So they're going to be, former players are going to be telling their narratives and talking about the game because they've actually played it. So now all these people who are making these channels and basically the Skip Baylesses, the Mad Dog Russos, Stephen A's, they're gonna have to they just can't go off the limb saying everything they want to say. They're gonna have to really think about it. Skip's old. He can care less. It's these new and up and comers that's following the same format. Those are the ones. So anyway, I'm out. Y'all be easy out there. I'm gone.